Hey, I'm JC Warbeck.
And I'm Clarissa Scheidel. We
We're
are the founders of Three Putt Golf Co.
As avid golfers, we could never find ladies' golf clothing that was comfortable and stylish.
So we decided to create our own brand that is fashionable, comfortable, and size inclusive up to 3X.
Each three-putt piece is uniquely ours. Check out our collection at threeputtgolfco.ca or visit our socials under Three Putt Golf Co.
And remember, Three Putts build character.
Hello and welcome to the Unexpected Journeys podcast. My name is Stacey Comer. I'm your host. And in this podcast, we talk to people who have had something unexpected in their life or something that's taken them on an unexpected journey. And I can't think of a better guest who really is a good example of that than my guest today. Chanelle Chalazan is here. Chanelle, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. I'm so excited.
Well, Chanelle, the name of your business is Chic and Charmed, and you started this when you were 13 years old on Facebook Marketplace, which is amazing to me because you're just 16 now. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So when you first started it, was it just for like a little extra pocket money, or what was the reason for starting it? And did you think it was going to blow up to this, or hope it was going to blow up to this scale?
Well, when I started, it wasn't really a company. I didn't really think about it in that way. It wasn't even for extra money. It was just for kind of like a hobby, something to do. So at first I was putting jewelry together, seeing what matched, clays and crystals with my mom's jewelry. And then it kind of just, the idea kind of got more. And then my dad's an entrepreneur, so he showed me all the ropes and what to do and, how to handle people and customer service, of course. And those two things interconnected. My parents are a big role into business today, and they help me with everything I do. But 13, I got kind of that starting idea. 14, I started doing some trade shows, started selling on Facebook Marketplace. And then 15 years old is when it really kind of took off. And then we started doing a Canada-wide tour. And we went all the way from Vancouver to Ottawa and, Toronto and Calgary. And tomorrow we're actually going to Kelowna for the Rock and Gem show. So it kind of just blew up, and we kind of just went with it, and we kept doing interviews and going around and getting new collections, new designs, and people are taking a liking to it.
Can you tell me, Chanelle, you kind of went through everything and how it happened, but what was the specific moment when you realized, okay, this is more than just a hobby for me? Was there one specific moment you can think back to that definitely clicked in your mind that this was definitely going to be bigger than you thought it was going to be?
I think when we did our first trade show, it was in September of 24. We were in Mormon. It's a small town in Saskatchewan. And, it was a very small show, not like the big ones that we do today, like the Calgary Stampede and so forth. And a couple hundred people maybe come through for attendance. And when we set it up and it was our first time, it's, it's nerve-wracking, right? Your first show, but it's also exciting. And lots of people, vendors were coming up, so surprised by my age. I was 14 at the time, and people loved the product. And I think that's when me and my dad realized that, this could go far if we really wanted to take it that way.
You talk about going to big events like the Calgary Stampede. You must have some great stories, Chanelle. You talk about people coming up to you and, really being curious about your stuff. Is there, an event or something that happened that really stuck out that you were, so surprised and that happened that really showed how much support you had?
Actually, I was really surprised when we done the women's show in Winnipeg. We went last March. So when we got there, it was International Women's Weekend, which was perfect for a women's show. And the organizer, she was so amazing and she was so impressed by everything. She actually called 4 news companies to come interview me. So we had Global City News, CTV News, and another channel that was out there, I think local to Winnipeg. And it was just so fascinating that, you could have all these different people come together and support you. And they want to support you. And it was super exciting. And, most of the time I try to contact news reporters myself. So having her do that and take the time out of her day to make mine a little bit better and get my name out, it's amazing.
Well, Chanelle, can you tell me a little bit about your jewelry? You mentioned some of it, at the beginning, but like what type of jewelry do you have, and do you make it, or how? Tell me about that whole process.
So at first I was making it by hand. So we, of course, when we started, we had to understand what product we were selling to start with. You have to understand all the intricate things about it, because jewelry, to men like my dad, you wouldn't really think twice about jewelry. Jewelry is jewelry, but to women, there's so many things that go into it, and there's different styles, and you have to look after your jewelry, of course. So when I started, first it was to find the kind of similar designs I wanted to start and the similar style. And did I want it to be real gold? Did I want it to be more costume or design, so forth? So when I looked up my competition, I kind of knew the similar style I wanted to do. She was 4 times our price at that point. And when I told my dad, my whole goal was to make jewelry girls my age could afford. At the time I was, 13, 14, I can't go out to buy an $80 pair of earrings, right? But $15, $20, you could do that. So my whole goal was to have no stores, have no employees, bring that all the way down, and I can keep it a quarter of the price of our competition. So that was my whole mission. So once we kind of understood the style we wanted and our pricing and our strategies behind the business, then you can go on to designing it. So like I said, when first I was making at 13, we have the clay, of course, and the crystals, and then you bake them, and then we have a water coating that goes over top of the bars as well. So when I started as well, I told myself, you know what, I wanted a high quality piece of jewelry. So compared to our competition, they don't have a water coating, but ours do. And, when I looked in the market, there was a big gap. There was either low quality jewelry for low prices, or there was either high quality jewelry for high prices. So I wanted a high quality jewelry piece for a low price. So that's kind of how it all grew. And, people obviously love that strategy. And that's why they support us to this day, because, with ours, you can buy 4 pieces for the price of 1. And then once we started, expanding a little bit bigger, with making the jewelry would just take too much time with school and, expanding the business across Canada. It'd be too hard. So my brother's a doctor in Vancouver. So we actually met a couple of chemists out there, and we met suppliers, and you know how people talk. And at first they didn't want to deal with me. They said, we don't deal with kids. They told my dad, and my dad said, you know what? You're not dealing with her. You're dealing with me. Right. So they took a chance, and every time we talk to them, they say, you know what, it was the best chance we took, because every order it's getting more and more. And I still design and pick out all the colors to this day, because I still want it personal. But, over time we evolved, and it just got better and better, and the products are better to this day. And I'm always looking to improve. And that's why we actually brought on chemists. They test what you can wear it in, what you can. The water coating, of course, it won't last forever, but it's good to know, we learned that you can't wear it in chlorine because of the chemicals. It'll eat the clay. So just things like that. It's good to know for personally what to do, but it's good to be transparent with customers as well.
And Chanelle, is it everything? Is it like earrings and bracelets and necklaces? Is it kind of a little bit of everything? And also
a little bit of everything, yeah.
Okay, and like, is it gold, silver? Tell me a little bit about that and about the gemstones you use. And also let's talk about your design process, because that must be really fun.
Yeah, so we all use 925 sterling silver. So it's more of a higher silver on the components. And then with the crystals we use is Swarovski crystals.
Okay.
Of course, we have a water coating, like I said, so it keeps all the crystals kind of tucked together a little bit more. So if you're out, let's say, shopping or something, you don't have to worry about it. Or if you're in the bathtub, you don't have to worry about your earrings that they're going to decay or fall apart. They're life-proof, and that's what I wanted them for. And the design process, it's actually very fun, but takes lots of time, right? So, actually some of our designs I'll see traveling or online, and I'll say, I want to make that into a necklace or an earring. So then I, send a template to my supplier, and sometimes he says, you know what, let's try it and see if it turns out well. And sometimes it's trial and error. Not everything's going to look perfect when it's on the earring or necklace or bracelet, but, he actually says that lots of the designs he would like to use for his earrings, and he makes earrings $50,000. He has high quality customers, right? So it's just, I love designing. And, when we were in Vancouver, I seen the harbor out there on the ocean, and that's where our ocean mist earrings came from. And then you see different things while you're traveling. So everything works together. And if I see something, I make it into something.
Chanelle, I cannot believe the knowledge you have, and just listening to you talk, you are like meant to be in business. Do you see yourself at any time, on a global scale? And would you ever like to get into, see your name in a retail store, or are you pretty set on just keeping it where you don't have retail stores and you're just doing it online?
Well, like I mentioned, when I started, I wanted to keep everything affordable. We opened up a retail store, all the prices would go up double automatically. And I can't do that to my customers. I'm just too nice to my customers. And as, a young girl as well, I wouldn't want girls my age to have to give up another $20 to pay $40 for a piece of earrings. So I want to stay strictly online and at trade shows. And of course, we're expanding all across Canada with the trade shows and interviews. Like I said, we're going to Kelowna next weekend, and then the weekend after that, we go to Victoria, back to Calgary, Edmonton, and so forth. And then we are booking shows in Halifax and Fredericton and New Brunswick. So we're going all across Canada. I know some businesses, they say they're national wide, but they're just in the western provinces. And my whole goal is all of Canada. And to ask your other question, on a global scale, to make it even out of Canada, maybe to the US, maybe one day, hopefully, with the US, there's so much happening there right now that I think it wouldn't be, safe to even go and, expand. But hopefully in the next couple years, if everything kind of settles down there, I'd love to do a women's show in New York or go to Miami and see what it's like out there and expand. And I was even talking to my dad. We would like to expand to Australia and the UK and do the Rock and Gem shows out there and just go all over and get the name out.
Well, Chanelle, you kind of touched a little bit on it, one of your questions before or answers before about school. So how are you balancing? Because I understand you still have like grades in the high 90s. So you're doing school and you're doing business. How do you balance all of that, Chanelle?
I still go to school full time. I'm going into grade 11, so there's lots of time management that goes into it, right? I have to go to school for 8 hours a day, and then the company, I have to work on it after school and before school, of course. And of course, when there's recess or lunch, I'm always, texting clients or taking orders and so forth. But, like when I started, my dad said it, if the school is not going well and it's going downhill and your grades are not up there, I won't help you. And the company just can't keep going that way, right? School was my main priority, and that was his main priority as well. So I have to work twice as hard to keep the grades up, but you know what? I get to keep running the company, which I love and I have a passion for, and everything at school is going well. And of course, I have to miss a few days here or there for a show if it's during Christmas time. But I talk to the teachers, I communicate well, and everybody kind of knows what's going on. And they help me. They make sure the material is being done, and if I understand and so forth. But everybody's working together, and everything's going well.
What do your friends think, Chanelle? Are they excited for you?
They're big supporters as well.
Yeah. Do you recruit them to help you out and model some of or test some of the products?
Not really. My friends are shy. I would be too. But, everybody works together. My friends are proud. They talk to me about it and they follow me and they keep up. But everybody, it's a small school I go to. I go to Marion Graham in Saskatoon. So it's probably one of the smallest high schools in Saskatoon. So everybody kind of knows each other and everybody helps each other out.
One of the things you mentioned was your dad is obviously heavily involved in this, Chanelle. So what's it like? Because obviously he's still your parent, but he's also a business partner and wants the best for you that way. So how do you navigate that dynamic? Is there a hard line between when he's dad and then when he's your business partner?
No, my dad's amazing. Like when I started, he's an entrepreneur. So he kind of knows how everything goes in business. And, there's not like a hard line that he's not my dad and then there's a hard line that he's an entrepreneur and you have to act as a business partner. We're a good duo. We work together. Even at the shows, I still call him dad. I don't treat him like a different business partner. I'm still talking to him and, he helps me and he's proud. Even we go to a grocery store, we go to Costco. If he sees somebody wearing competitions earrings or if he sees somebody wearing earrings, he runs right up with a card and he says, "Here, look at my daughter." And we actually just got our feet done this morning and he actually went up to all the ladies getting their nails done saying, "Here's a card, take it." So, anywhere we go, we're always getting the name out and we're always having that business keep going and getting, going around. And, if you don't say anything, nobody knows who you are, nobody will buy, nobody will hear you. So it all works together with my dad and I'm very grateful to have him as my mentor.
Now, what about keeping up your presence, Chanelle, on social media? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. Does that all fall to you too? Do you handle that part as well?
I do. I handle everything to the company. I'm the CEO too, but I go A to Z. I do everything in the company. And that was like I said, I didn't want to raise prices. So that's kind of the chance I took. But, you just have to work a little bit harder, but I enjoy what I do. So it's not as bad either. If you hate what you do, then you don't feel like doing it. But when I work on the company, it doesn't even feel like work. It's just doing something I love and having fun doing it. Right. So when I do social media, I love posting ads and I love, connecting with customers and posting different things and posting different shows I'm at. I'm always on Facebook groups promoting the brand and I'm on Instagram and it's amazing. It's because you get a different clientele online as well. You get more younger people, of course, but then it's nice to have the trade shows going because you also have that in-person connection and you get to meet different people. And then I can talk a little bit more than on in-person than online too. But it's good to have, more modern advertising ways going and also traditional with the trade show. And that's why when I started doing more local advertising like billboards with Patterson and C95 radio, I wanted to have some more traditional advertising ways, of course.
Well, you sound like you have every angle of this handled. And I've also seen, Chanelle, that you have still talked about possibly going into medicine at some point. So is that something you're still considering, or are you going to have to wait and see how big the business actually gets?
I'm still pursuing medicine. That's my whole goal. My goal is to take an undergrad in business in Calgary and then have that and then go into medicine and see where it takes me. But when I tell people that medicine's my backup plan, just to have that degree in case things go south, because you never know, in 10, 20 years, maybe the company will soar and it'll do well and it works out. That's amazing. But let's say in 10, 20 years, it doesn't soar and it doesn't go well. And let's say it's not popular anymore. I'm not going to be regretting what happened, right? I still have that degree. I still can go into something and I still have a good job going.
At 3 Putt Golf Co., we design everything from the bottom up, so each piece is uniquely ours. We create golf apparel that looks good and moves with you. We are a Canadian company based in Saskatchewan. Check out the full collection at 3puttgolfco.ca or visit our social media under 3Putt Golf Co. And remember, 3 putts build character.
Chanelle, if you look at yourself now and you go back to, the 13-year-old girl sitting in your room doing some selling on Facebook Marketplace, what advice would you give that person, the 13-year-old you? Or are you just happy with the way that everything has gone and you don't think you would have ever had to tell that person anything?
Past me would be very scared and nervous about what happened in the next couple years for it, because, when you're starting off, I wasn't mature and I wasn't confident like I am now. You kind of have to learn that over having the business, and you learn from doing, of course. But I would tell her just to not worry, don't stress a lot, because I know even as adults, you tend to stress a lot about things that might not need stressing over, and we get so worked up. But we just have to kind of just relax, and everything's going to work out in the long run. Anything I was stressed over, everything worked out. So I kind of just tell myself, just breathe, it's okay, and everything's going to work out. And if you keep working towards your goals, things will happen and you'll achieve the things that you want and what you want and what you'll dreamt of in the past.
Have you, Chanelle, when you have been dealing with customers and clients, had any issues because of your age? Do you find that maybe they say, oh, well, I'd rather talk to your dad? Or because you have, all of this information down and you just have, you just radiate confidence. Have you had any issues at all? Or do some people still say, well, I'd rather talk to your dad?
People do make assumptions on age, of course, and it's been getting better over, building that credibility behind the company, of course. But, when I started, like I mentioned, I wanted to do billboards with Patterson. So I phoned him up and I'm confident. I was like, I'm going to phone and I'm going to see what I can do, right? So I phoned Phil, he's the regional manager here. And I say, I want to do a billboard campaign. And he says, well, how old are you? You sound young. And I was like, I'm 15. And then he's like, I need to talk to a parent. Like, I don't know if this is legit or not.
Right.
So it was funny. And I gave him my dad's number, and then my dad phoned, and, they talked back and forth. And, we met Phil in his office, and, he's like, once I meet you, it's different. But I didn't know who you were on the phone. And he says, it's quite impressive. But, now we do a campaign with him in Saskatoon every year. We do 2 of them. And then as well, we're doing campaigns in Regina and Calgary for billboards. So it's amazing how much we grew from just knowing him in a couple of years. But, at first he didn't want to deal with me. He needed a parent. So sometimes it's hard to get anywhere in business when you're young, because so many people, they don't want to deal with you, because I think lots of the time they don't know if you're really passionate. They don't know if you're real, and they don't know who you are. And it's kind of hard to, believe somebody just over the phone. So it's nice that we got to meet him. And even with C95 radio, they said, I need to talk to a parent. Like, who's this girl phoning me, right?
Right.
So it's funny. And even with customers now, I still deal with them and I still talk to people. And I have all the information behind the company. I know more than my dad knows, but, because I run the company. But I think some people prefer to talk to my dad, just because, women like to hear when they look good in their jewelry. My dad will say, you look amazing in those earrings, and so forth. And, girls, they just want to be told they look good. And, I think they like my dad, but they like me too. So it works perfectly together.
Well, Chanelle, you are such an inspiration, and speaking with you, I mean, it's so inspiring to hear everything that you say. Do you see yourself as a mentor for younger girls? And do you have any plans to, if they come to you and, maybe they don't want to start a jewelry company, but they want to do some of their own type of business. Do you see yourself eventually as becoming a mentor to help young girls to get where you got to as well? Or are you, going to maybe do that like as a side thing where you could do it once in a while, but it's not something where, you can all of a sudden take time to be helping so many other people as well?
To say I'm a mentor now. I've been
Mm-hmm.
speaking at lots of elementary and high schools here in Saskatoon, and actually in the next couple months I'll be speaking at a high school in Red Deer. So pretty exciting, but I would like to think that I inspire lots of girls, and if they would like to, come up to me or even chat online to, if they want any advice or things to do, I'd love to help. I think as I learned so much from having this business, and even as life experience you take with you, I like to bring that on to other people. Even it doesn't even have to be girls, younger than me or my age. It could be even older people, and even if you're in your 20s or 30s, I'd love to help you, because business is not just one thing that you learned and then it goes on forever. It's not like a doctor degree. Once you have it, you know everything. There's so many things that go into business that we can all learn from.
Well, you talk about all the media attention you've received, Chanelle. You've done television and radio, and I keep seeing magazines are interviewing you and doing all kinds of features. So what's that like for you? Do you enjoy that part of your work as well?
I think that's the best part about what I do, because I love connecting with others. And when you're getting interviewed, of course, you're getting a whole new audience as well, and you're meeting the news reporters. And I was just featured in a Kesha magazine, so in the next couple months for next shoot, I'll be actually on the cover with her. So it's actually really exciting.
Wow.
She's a real estate agent here in Saskatoon, so it's nice to connect with local people, of course, and news reporters. It's nice for them to hear my story, because it's every city I go to, I try to get a news or coverage on something, and it's good to connect with other people too that's not in your city and that's far away, like Ottawa, getting a news interview out there. It's amazing to see, because it's different. People live differently in different places, and it's nice to see how people are and what they know, and things that you can connect on as well.
Chanelle, do you have a business idol? Do you look at somebody who is an entrepreneur who has, really famous for what they do, and somebody that inspires you as well? Is there one or two people that you really look up to in the entrepreneurial world?
I wouldn't say he's famous, but my dad. He's the number one guy I look up to. Everything, anytime I need help, anything with the business, he's there. He's always helping me at the shows. He's coming with me. He's driving me everywhere. And he's just such a good support to have with the business, because I don't know if I would be where I am today without him, because he's been such a big part in the company. And he's always helping me in one way or the other. So I always look up to him, and he's such an inspiration to me.
Well, Chanelle, before I let you go here, because I know you have a very busy schedule, what advice would you give to somebody who is maybe at the stage you were, 13, 14 years old, and is looking at becoming an entrepreneur, and they think, oh, I'm so young, I don't know that I can do this. What advice can you give to them besides just looking at the success that you've had?
I say this every time anybody asks me advice, but there's two things I would say. I would say turn any no or maybe into a yes. Take any opportunity that you see that comes up to you, because sometimes we get scared or we get fearful about taking an opportunity, because it might change our lifestyle in a way, or it might change us in a way, and we might learn something, and we get quite fearful. And that's the easiest word to say. And I would say, you know what? You have to, like we learned in psychology, I took a psychology class, and they said, for you to not be scared of something, you have to do something twice. So how would you be scared of doing it if you've never done it before? So you kind of have to take a deep breath in and go for it, because look at me. If I wouldn't have took all the opportunities that were at my door, and if I wouldn't have went on a Canada-wide tour and done all these interviews, and even being on an interview and talking in front of kids at schools, lots of people in my grade, they say, Chanelle, you must be nuts. Like, that's so nerve-wracking. My friend, she said, I would never do what you do. But I said, I love it, but I've also done it so many times to not be fearful of it. But doing it my first, speech, I was so scared. I was shaking and everything. So, it's not that I wasn't like that. It was that I've done it a couple of times, and that would make sense in psychology. But you just have to take those opportunities and see where it takes you. Not everything's going to be great and go well. You're going to have some hardships. The business comes with hardships, but you know what? You just keep taking those opportunities, and you learn with life experience you get in the long run as well. Maybe you start a company and it fails and you never do a business again, but you still learned all those life experiences, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Chanelle, it's awesome just listening to you. Like I said, you're such an inspiration. And if people are looking to learn more about you, or if they want to purchase your product, what is the best way to find you on social media and your website and all that fun stuff?
So you can find us on our website, chicandcharmedjewelry.com, and then on our website they have our Instagram, Chic and Charmed by Chanelle, and then our Facebook's on there as well.
Well, Chanelle, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. You are just, like I said, so inspirational. It's just incredible to hear your story. And I can't wait to see what you do over the next few years. Adding in medicine and then keep, an entrepreneur and helping other people who are in business to get wherever they need to be. It's just incredible. So thank you for chatting with me. I very much appreciate it. And I wish you so much luck in the future.
Thank you so much for having me.
Unexpected Journeys is produced and hosted by me, Stacey Comer. Executive producer is Sean Lannon. Podcast and host representation is Lemmon Entertainment. Thank you to our episode sponsor, 3Putt Golf Co. You can find us on all social media and podcast sites under the name Unexpected Journeys. Please like and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. We appreciate any and all feedback, and if you are interested in being a guest on the Unexpected Journeys podcast, you can email us at unexpectedjourneyspod@gmail.com. For sponsorship inquiries, send a message to Jessica@lemmonent.com. That's lemon with 2 M's. Thank you so much for listening.